All right, today's notes are going to focus on exponential growth and decay. So we have this model here, y equals a times b will always be in parentheses to the power of t. A is the initial value, which is basically your starting amount. B is the rate of growth or decay. It's going to depend, so if the b value is greater than 1, then it's a growth function. If the b value is less than 1, then it's a decay factor, a decay function. T is going to be time, but we really won't do anything with time, not on today's lesson. So the lessons today are going to give you different equations in this format, and it's going to ask you 3 questions for each of your problems on homework. The first question is, does the exponential function represent growth or decay? So just to kind of reiterate what I said earlier, so this is where you're going to look at the b value. Feel free to pause it if you did not have a chance to write all this down. So again, the b value will be what's in the parentheses. If the b value is greater than 1, then we're going to say that it's a growth function. If the b value is less than 1, it's a decay function. The next part talks about the initial value. What is the initial value? You're going to notice this a, what is the number out in front of the parentheses by itself, that's your initial value. So you'll just state whatever that value is. So for initial value, you're going to look at the a value. And then lastly, the rate of growth or decay. If it's a growth function, then you're going to do b minus 1, and that's going to give you the rate. And again, when I say b, b is referring back up here to the number that's in the parentheses, simplified. You'll subtract it from 1, that'll give you the rate. If you have a decay function, you're going to do 1 minus b, and that's going to give you the rate. So we're going to do 4 examples. The 4 examples will focus on these same 3 questions, and I will refer back to these different items that you're looking at as we do these. So our first 2 examples, you're going to notice that your b value is not contained. Like this is not, we can add this on a calculator and we can subtract this, which is what we should do. So if we first start by adding these and subtracting these, so here, this is my a value. This thing together is b. So if I add 1 plus 0.35, I get 1.35. And then if I do the same on this second problem, so my a is going to be 110. And my b is 1 minus 0.08. So make sure you're careful and you do the buttons on the calculator correctly. So this is going to be b is 0.92. So now we're ready to start. So part A, I'm just going to go through the thing just like we did at the top. So question A, is it growth or decay? So again, look at the B. So here's my B, it's 1.35. We said if the B is bigger than 1, it's a growth function. So we're going to say growth. And I'm going to put my reasons here. I'm going to put since B is greater than 1. You don't have to do that, but that way you can kind of refer back to it. Part B, what is the initial value? So initial value is just copy down whatever the A is, and A is 27. So 27, and again, I'm just going to write a little extra off to the side, so the A value. Part C, what's the rate of the growth? So we have to know which one we're dealing with, growth or decay. And we already said this is growth, so since this is growth, we're going to use b minus 1. This is b. So we're going to do b minus 1, which is 1.35 minus 1, which gives you 0. What did I do? Sorry, I had a lapse moment. So you get 0.035. So this 0.35 is your, since it's growth, this is your growth rate. All right, let's try the next one. So same 3 questions, growth or decay. So again, look at your B. Our b was separate here, so we combined it. So you subtract it because it says subtraction, so 0.92. So this will be a decay function. And again, the reason is that b is less than 1. Then it asks for the initial value. So part B, the initial value is your A, so 110. Part C, growth rate or decay rate. Since we're talking decay, we're going to come up here and do 1 minus B. So we're going to do 1 minus, again, this is your B, 0.92. And you're going to get 0.08. And because we're doing decay, this is your decay rate. Now we're going to do 2 more examples, that same 3 questions, but the problems look a little bit different. So just want to go over those really quickly. So for number 3, let's go ahead and label. So this is A because it's out in front of the parentheses. This is B. You can see this time your B is already combined. This is A here for number 4, and here is B. So we're going to answer those same 4 questions. So first question, growth or decay. So your B value is 1.73. That's bigger than 1. So if it's greater than 1, then you're going to say growth. Let me just write that in again. Part B is to give the initial value. The initial value is your A, so 275. Part C is to find the growth rate or decay rate, and since we have growth, we're going to use the B minus 1 equation. So you're going to do B minus 1. So B is 1.73 minus 1 is going to give us 0.73. So this is your growth rate. For number 4, growth or decay, your B is 0.8. Again, if you think of this as money, 82 cents, that's less than $1. If it's less than $1, then it's got to be decay. So part A is going to be decay. And again, the reason is because B is less than 1. Part B, the initial value is your A, so 1250. And lastly, part C, find the growth rate or the decay rate. Since we have decay, we're going to use the formula for decay, which is 1 minus B. So 1 minus 0.82. When you subtract that, you get 0.018. So this is your decay. Whoops, rate. I almost wrote factor. Haha. Your decay rate. So one quick thing I just wanted to point out. If you get this B minus 1 and 1 minus B mixed up, here's what will happen. So let's say on growth, you did the wrong one. You did 1 minus B. So this is wrong, but let me just show you. Let's say I did 1 minus B instead. So I do 1 minus 1.73. I'm going to get, when I subtract those, a negative number. This cannot be negative. So that's how you know that you did it the wrong way. So all you would do is switch it and do B minus 1 instead of 1 minus B. So this is kind of to help you if you make mistakes, can't have a negative here. So we saw none of these rates were negative, they can never be negative. So if you get confused on which one, if you get a negative, you got to reverse it, which will change it back to positive.